It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller. We're very happy to welcome into studio again a guest who we've chatted with a number of times in recent years, and particularly about one subject. Becca Riffle, owner of Main Stage in Cottonwood, has chatted with us about the Live with Courage fundraiser and Camp Courage, which helps children who have suffered burns and traumatic injury or accidents or things like that. So, Becca, we say a good day to you. And again, thanks for coming in, bringing that big smile and sharing a few minutes with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here again with you. So thank you for having me.
Now, let's do this first. The camp itself is for young people. Did I get it right? Children.
Yes.
Who
children,
have suffered. Yeah.
I believe between the ages of 6 and 16.
Okay. And they have it's just
for traumatic burn
simply
injuries.
Called burn camp.
It's called burn camp for children that have suffered from traumatic burn injuries from however that was received, unfortunately.
Right,
it's a camp for them 1 week up in Prescott for them just to be kids again.
About how many kids do you know offhand?
You know, it varies from year to year.
Sure.
To be honest, since COVID, since 2020, the numbers have gone down a little bit, and we're hoping to get that back up again.
You don't want to miss any kid who could benefit from it. That's for sure. So
exactly.
Kind of locating children, I guess, could be a challenge in itself. They have to hear about it. And anyway, one of the bigger things that'll come up well ahead of that comes up summertime each year. But the Main Stage does a very big fundraiser. You get together with Law Tigers, I think, and really kind of put on a show and really get some good people who have big, big hearts and sometimes big pocketbooks. And they do an awful lot to support this terrific endeavor. So talk to me a little bit about what's going to happen between now and the summertime camp itself.
Absolutely. So Sunday, February 4th at Main Stage, we have our big Camp Courage fundraising extravaganza. That's from noon until 5 p.m. We had it last year, and it was such a great day. We raised over $11,000.
Oh, great! That's good.
We're able to send a lot of kids to this camp, which is our main objective. But great music, great vendors. So this year we have a couple new components involved, where there's going to be a motorcycle ride from Buddy Stubbs Harley Davidson down in Phoenix. So motorcycle riders can actually start in Phoenix and come all the way up to Main Stage. And then here at Main Stage, we're going to be having live music and raffles, silent auctions.
Doing your thing.
Doing our thing and raising money to send kids to camp.
Let me talk about this. I want to get into the reason behind this, and clearly, as maybe our audience remembers from you sharing with us last year, you have a very personal reason. You yourself are a childhood victim of a burn injury, an accident. I'll ask you to share whatever you're comfortable with sharing with our audience. You did some last year, but to remind them, and clearly this is important to you, this event and fundraiser.
Absolutely. It's near and dear to my heart. It's something that happened to me as a child, and it's a camp that I personally went to as a child as well. But for me, my injury happened growing up in Sedona. It was just one of those freak accidents, unfortunately. But I guess also a reminder for parents and people to be careful of candles.
Well, with kids, pulling the hot boiling pot off the stove, candle, and it happens too often to children.
Oh, there are so many ways, unfortunately, to get these burn injuries. And for me, it was flowing pajamas that I was wearing, leaned up against a candle, didn't necessarily realize that my pajamas had lit on fire. And before I knew it, I had 17% of my body in third-degree burns.
Did you take off running?
I did. I stopped, dropped, and rolled.
Did you really?
I really did.
Okay.
You hear about that. And what you don't know about that is the garment itself was on fire, and I didn't feel it right away. And when I stopped, dropped, and rolled, that hurts quite a bit.
Sure.
When that flame touches your skin. And I ran through the house after that, and I don't think that I put out the flame completely because I kind of reignited, and I was just like a little ball of fire by the time I got to my parents in the basement.
So you were alone in the room at the time?
I was alone in the room at the time.
The worst.
Ran through the house after I stopped, dropped, and rolled in my room, ran down to the basement where my parents were, and by the time they saw me, I was just a little ball of fire. Took off my pajamas really quickly, and unfortunately, just that quickly, I had 17% of my body was third-degree burns, and airvac'd to the Maricopa burn unit,
right?
Down in Phoenix.
We're so lucky that we have that.
Yes, we are. There's angels in that burn unit for sure.
I want to talk a little bit about that, and I don't mean to dig too deeply into your own personal story, but to me, it seems like, every injury, every trauma, especially when it's with kids, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to me that with burn trauma, the healing process is almost guaranteed to take as long as any other kind of injury could take. And the psychology of it, here's where I'm going. There was I heard about a youngster who was burned and was recovering and was going to make it, but had to go through the skin grafts and the, what do you call it, the debrading.
Yes, the debrading. That is essentially burns. You're so likely to have infections.
Right.
And the way your skin kind of, is healing and growing back, like in the hospital, I would have to have these salt baths every day, sometimes twice a day. And they take essentially metal, sometimes washcloths if they can, but otherwise it's kind of this metal piece that they have to use against your burns.
Scrape
essentially, scrape your burns.
Skin.
Yeah, just so that way they're healing. And that is where you hear the stories of burn units and just, grown men screaming and crying because it is intense pain. And so it's something that I think connects traumatic burn survivors together, is that when you've experienced that, it's harsh. And so for children,
there's just no way to even describe it so many years later without it being a very difficult thing.
Right.
And at your age, at that time, 7th grade, you're heading toward grown up, so you can understand it. But you think about little children, they're not going to know what's happening and why that is happening to them, even if you explain it.
Right.
2-year-olds are going to have a limited understanding of what is going on, and all they're going to know is how it feels.
Right. And unfortunately for burns, a lot of the time, in order to if those burns can't heal naturally, essentially, you have to take skin grafts.
Right.
So you have to take parts of your other skin that's not burned and put it over the burns to re-heal. So that can take somebody, like for myself, I had 17% of my body burned, but I had 5 doctors in the hospital at the time, and of those 5 doctors, there was one doctor in particular who said, I think you're young, and the burns are in your back, and it can probably heal naturally, but it's going to be a year of treatments in order for this to heal naturally. Yeah. Whereas the other doctors were wanting to just do the skin grafts, which would mean my legs and butt, and pretty much everything would just be a scar at that point. Yeah. Thankfully, I was able to, my parents, and we listened to that one doctor who, yes, it was a year of healing, but I didn't come out with the amount of scars that I would have.
Okay. Now it clearly was the right decision, but every family will have to make that decision.
Right.
There's no right or wrong.
Right. And sometimes you don't have that decision to make. It just kind of depends on where those scars are and where that injury happened. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would ask you further. I appreciate you diving into your own painful history. You told me there was this kind of garment that burn victims have to wear, that you had to wear, and most burn victims do,
right,
to help the healing. But here again, it's
called a Job suit.
A Job
suit,
okay.
And essentially, it's almost like a very, very strong like pantyhose.
Okay.
That you have to wear. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a really tight garment that you wear over the scars as they're healing, because your skin can grow back outwards if you don't have something holding it down
improperly to what you want it to do.
Right.
It's got to be guided in a way.
Right.
And that's what this Job suit does.
Right. So
it's on for
For myself, I wore it for about a year.
Does it come often on like
Yes.
regular clothing?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just something that you have to wear.
Is it
over your scars.
reusable or is it a?
Yes.
I'm just trying to get an
Yeah,
idea.
it's something that you're gonna wash, just like
Okay.
clothes.
Okay.
And yeah, burn survivors are very familiar with those job suits.
Right. Well, and that's what the young kids are going to know about. And as we
Mm-hmm.
come back to our second section, we'll talk more about that and the commonalities that the kids are going to share. And the job suits will be one of them and different
Right.
kinds of things.
Right.
I wanted to you talk about your burns on your back, invisible to the casual observer.
Mm-hmm.
But for some kids, it's going to be something that may have involved their face, their hands.
Oh, absolutely.
There's going to be some disfigurement. That is a whole nother world of pain.
Right. Psychological.
That those
and
kids will have, yeah.
You're absolutely living your life with people looking at you.
Right.
And unfortunately kind of judging you for this accident that happened in your life.
Right.
So that's why I think that burn camp is so important, is because it allows kids to go be kids and not looked at in
Everybody
any
there
particular
knows.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. We'll come back. We need to take a little break, so we'll do that. Becca Riffle sharing a stark story with us, but it drives her. Hopefully, it'll drive you to the main stage coming up on February 4th. A big fundraiser for a tremendous cause. Live with Courage, the fundraiser is called. It's for Camp Courage, children who have suffered significant burn injuries. It happens every summer in the Prescott area, and this fundraiser is all about getting as many kids there as want to be there. We'll come back. Our guest is Becca Riffle. We'll return to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology, factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Hi, this is Louis Rice with Rice Accounting, Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, with a very sincere thank you for your continued business over the last 20 years. All of us at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service are very honored for the many community awards we've been given over the years. As always, we are open year-round, providing services for taxes, payroll, and bookkeeping. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona, can help you with all your tax and accounting needs. For our nearest location, call 800-234-1040.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
Returning to the program, it is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller, and Becca Riffle is with us today. And Becca, owner-operator of Main Stage, going to be a tremendous event there happening. There's a lot of tremendous events happening there.
Yeah.
But the one we're talking about today is on February 4th, Sunday noon to 5. Going to be a bike ride coming up from Phoenix. We'll chat more about those specifics before we wrap up today. But talking about the burn camp, Camp Courage is what it's called. This fundraiser is all about that, and helping children who have been burned in accidents, injured in some way, but have suffered significant burn injuries. And Becca herself is a survivor of such an injury. How long was it between your injury and your attendance at burn camp?
For me, it was faster than most.
Okay, that's good.
Right. I was in the hospital still, and somebody from the Arizona Burn Foundation came in and told me about this camp that was coming up and suggested that I go to it. And at that time, I was still in bandages and it didn't sound too appealing at that moment.
Probably not going anywhere.
Right. I was
that
very woe is me. I was very, why
Yeah.
did this happen? I
Right.
was, in pain myself and
Right,
not really
right,
wanting
right.
to go to camp
Right.
at that moment.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and here again, you're like 7th grade, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that age.
Yeah.
What an age when you're already so self-conscious about
Right.
every little thing.
It's an
Now
awkward
you've
age
got this.
already.
Now you've got all of these other kinds of things. It seems to me that, burn camp is going to be beneficial to any child who's able to attend.
Oh, absolutely.
But it seems like, and as you're a testament to, once you did get there and did see what it's about.
Once I got there, it absolutely changed my life
Yeah.
for the better. And one way it did that was making me realize that I wasn't alone.
Yeah. That's huge for kids especially,
Absolutely.
but for anybody.
Yeah. And I wasn't, I feel like I would have been so much more self-conscious about my scars for the rest of my life had I not seen all of these tremendous kids and all of these people that wore them like badges of honor.
Yeah.
Because of what they went through. And honestly, because of the Arizona Burn Foundation and because of this camp and because of amazing people that make them realize how special they are.
Right.
And how, you are still a person, you are still a child, you are still, despite all of these injuries and despite these surgeries and everything that you've been through, you can still be a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a beautiful thing for me to experience. And then also just experience how lucky I was.
Yeah.
Because there were so many children there, unfortunately, that had it so much worse.
Right.
And so it really took away that why me and woe is me attitude going in.
And how important do you think that was to your recovery? Because the psychological component, if it's not there and on board,
Right.
The recovery could be non-existent.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was the best thing that could have ever happened for me.
Right.
Was going to that camp and having camaraderie alongside people who had been through similar injuries and knowing that I wasn't alone. And it just gave me that power to push through it all.
Right. The camp is a week long?
It's a week long.
Okay.
And it takes place up in Prescott,
Right.
Arizona.
And you can kind of see that just simply starting to see some of the kids and meet them and talk a little bit. But during the course of that week, it seems like there's probably going to be some extraordinary relationships develop as each of the young people tells their stories. But also, like you say, being kids. When you say camp, I'm thinking swimming, bikes, horses, maybe,
all of
and all
those
that.
things.
Is all of that there?
All of those things are there. Yeah. Rock climbing, kayaking, horse therapy. We have so many amazing volunteers that do arts and crafts programs. Everything that you can imagine at camp is at this camp. And
Right.
it really, truly is a magical experience.
Now, who you're talking like? Are you a volunteer during the camp or?
Personally, I have not been a
Okay.
volunteer. But a lot of the kid survivors,
Sure.
children burn survivors, do go back year after year and do become camp volunteers.
Makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, there's also
yeah.
a lot of our amazing firemen and firewomen throughout Arizona who are camp counselors and
Sure.
volunteer there as well. So
Okay. And again, the lead organization that kind of puts all this together, runs it, staffs it is
the Arizona Burn Foundation.
If there's anyone listening today, hopefully they've already had the outreach and are connected. But if anyone is listening today who is the parent perhaps or a survivor themselves and wants to be a part of this, they contact that organization.
Yes,
Is that-
absolutely. Contact the Arizona Burn Foundation. They do so much for children, but then also adults or anybody that has suffered traumatic burn injuries. They help people get what they need,
Right.
the resources that they need. And they've been an organization that's been in Arizona here for about 50 years, I believe.
Really? Okay.
So they've been around a long time, and they are an incredible organization.
Terrific. All right, let's do this. Take another short break. When we come back, we'll kind of wrap it up. Becca Riffle, main stage will be the location, the Sunday, February 4th fundraiser, noon to 5 p.m. Live with Courage to benefit the kids at Camp Courage, about $11,000 last year. I know your competitive streak. You want more this year.
Oh, yeah, we're doing more this year.
We want
Bigger
more
and
this year.
better every year.
A little bit more can send more kids to the important program that Becca herself experienced as a youngster. We'll take a break. Countywide comes back right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Hi, this is Lewis Rice with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, with a very sincere thank you for your continued business over the last 20 years. All of us at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service are very honored for the many community awards we've been given over the years. As always, we are open year-round, providing services for taxes, payroll, and bookkeeping. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona, can help you with all your tax and accounting needs. For our nearest location, call 800-234-1040.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
We welcome you back to the program. Becca Riffle is our guest on Countywide today, and Becca, owner-operator of Main Stage in Cottonwood, and that will be the venue again this year for the Live with Courage. It is to benefit Camp Courage, as it's called, and that benefits youngsters who have suffered, as Becca herself has, burn injuries as children. It's a place for them to go, to convene, to share, to heal, to grow, to enjoy, to be a kid, to do all of those kinds of things that perhaps even some of them feel have been denied them because of their trauma.
Absolutely.
And who wouldn't understand that? So I want to help out. What can I do? Is there a door? Can I make a donation right now? How do we do this?
We want you to show up Sunday, February 4th at Main Stage. It's from noon to 5 p.m. There is no door. It's actually a free event to come.
Great.
There is also the ride. If anybody is in Phoenix and a motorcycle rider, there is a ride from Buddy Stubbs, Harley Davidson. The check-in for that is at 9 a.m. So we're going to have motorcyclists coming up from Phoenix, which is great because Law Tigers.
Is that new part of this event?
That is. That ride is new. I mean, this has always been kind of, there's something amazing about the biker community where they really help out in these fundraising events. And of course, Law Tigers is our big sponsors for this, and they help put it all together. And they are motorcycle attorneys here in Arizona. So if you've got a motorcycle and you're a rider, bring it out. If you don't worry about it. Come on out. Yeah. This is also like one of our only all ages events that we have throughout the year here at Main Stage. So there's going to be face painters for the kids. There's the fire trucks. Great. The fire department comes out. We have live music. We have live music actually by a gentleman named Harley Davidson from noon until 2. And then also the Well Dressed Wolves will be playing from 2 to 5. But food trucks, we've got so many amazing, incredible things to bid on in our silent auctions and raffles donated from our awesome community. So
people are behind this.
Yes, people are behind this. And that is the one thing that I can say about our community is that, restaurant owners and hotel owners and people in this community really pitch in and donate for things like this, and I'm so appreciated.
Come together, and you hear about too much division every time you turn on the news. It's all you hear about, and it's great to see that locally we can kind of get past all that.
Yeah, you won't see any of that here.
Good stuff. All right, Live with Courage, it's called. Again, Sunday, February 4th, Main Stage, easy to find right on the main drag in Cottonwood. Noon to 5 is the party, the Buddy Stubbs motorcycle run. Sounds like Wheels, 9 o'clock is the, whatever, 9 o'clock, be there.
9 o'clock is their check-in
They'll point you north and off you go. And you'll end up having a terrific time for a terrific cause. All right. Becca Riffle with Main Stage, we appreciate so much you sharing your very personal story with us.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
It's compelling and hopefully will encourage people to be a part of Camp Courage, returning in June. All right. It's countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.